Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Rams multiplayer Dominion 5 game. This is turn 4. Previous episode covered a little bit of the nation overview in turn 3. These turns will probably go pretty quick. As always, joined by my co-host, Black Mane.
Hey
Black Mane, how
mates,
you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. So, let's roll through it here. Still early, expansion phase. Um, just let me know if anything jumps out and we can take a look if need be. Um, we got Yes, another strong expand. Um, no
Doing what they do
losses.
best.
Yeah. This is actually something interesting. I will note to our viewers, we are recording on a lag time. So the game is actually, I believe, around turn 20 now. I've taken a look occasionally at some of the later turns, but um, this Merc company from Ulm is going to be a prevailing theme throughout the videos.
Mm,
Have
looking
you
forward to it.
used this Merc company before?
Bergmeister guards. I don't think I have.
So they're these little size 1 guys with a little bit of prot,
Huh.
not a whole lot of hit points, but you can pack a whole lot of them into a square, and very high defense skill.
Right. So difficult to harass down.
Yep,
Not bad.
and did very well against heavy cav. You would think heavy cav with the charge would be able to kill more than two um, size 1 5 hit point guys, but nope. Um, Here we are.
Yeah. 17 defense versus 11 attack. Just couldn't get through.
Yep. And then Shamba, flawless expand here.
Very nice.
Asphodel continuing to expand relatively well, but remember they had that odd build.
Yeah, the prop build.
Yeah, we'll see how that works for them. Atlantis took a few hits here. Um, Shark Knight's
Not too surprising.
obviously more difficult indies.
Yeah, I think they would be. I mean, Shark Knights is the only thing worse would be to run into 60 Shark Tritons really underwater.
Any
Otherwise, this is
concerns about Atlantis's ability to continue to use this force to expand?
losing this. They would have what 4, 11, 14 infantry. That can be rough. Underwater, especially, often the indies have quite like large numbers. This is an exception, obviously, and so you can get really overwhelmed when you have really small forces. I probably wouldn't continue to expand with this if I was Atlantis. I would reconsolidate.
Yep, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Yep,
Shinu, I love Shinu's expand. It's real strong.
spam gobos,
Yep. And
profit.
you get the discount for them. And with the map nuke generation, you get 2 provinces in your cap circle where you can recruit more of them. So, yeah, it's a strong expand. Um, Decent amount of loss here also from Relay.
Yeah, it's not great, but really they're just trying to save up for Meteor Guard, I assume.
Yep.
Mm.
And then TC with the Quickness Dragon King expander continuing to do work. I believe they double expanded here. Yep. Um,
Very nice.
Red Guard with Quickness probably performed pretty well, I'm guessing.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah, doing the majority of the work here. 2 of them racking up 11 kills. And then,
All the 3 go expand as
yep,
expected. So this Ryugo player I looked up after our previous casting. This is Illidean, who is a famous weeaboo who loves the Japanese nations in this game. He's very experienced with Ryugojo, so I'm expecting spicy things.
he is also another Aussie. So for our viewers, there may be a little bias here going on in future episodes.
He is an Aussie, indeed.
And then a double expand from Ulm here because they had that Merc expand as well.
Yep, very clean.
So, anything jump out at you? Looks like Ulm and TC are the only ones taking 2 provinces on turn 4.
How's it looking in terms of the directions of expansion? Are people just clearing cap circles for now? Looks like it.
Yeah, TC is a little bit outside their cap circle. Ulm is a bit
Yeah, they took a farm,
outside.
as they
Um,
should.
yeah, Flegra's just in their cap circle.
Flegra
Shinu's.
didn't expand this turn.
Oh, interesting. No, they did not.
Mm.
That's gonna be something to keep an eye on. Either did Aisha, right?
No, too big, too much losses in the first round, I guess.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah, that's tough.
Atlantis. Oh, Relay moving quickly towards Ryuga Joe.
Yeah, must be trying to get that choke, which yeah, it makes sense.
Yep. And
It could get
then
an early war between those two potentially.
yeah, Yis has not yet moved towards land. I assume their next parties will start moving towards land
Yeah,
rapidly.
they really have to clear that cap circle so they can get the resources for their knights.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and pull
Straight
up
on.
that next turn. Okay, this is gonna take me a minute. In future videos, I'll probably find a better way to transition here, but while I pull up that next turn, uh, walk me through how you approach mercenaries and how you evaluate whether or not they're recruiting or worth recruiting. Do you have a list? How do you weigh the risk of spending a lot of gold for an important merc company but not enough and missing out on a turn's worth of recruitment? Any advice you can give our viewers in that respect?
I think that mercenaries are definitely one of the more knowledge checky components of the game, in that it's often not immediately obvious which ones are good. Of course, you can always check the mod inspector, very helpful program. In terms of when I evaluate them, I think the biggest component is whether or not it would take a recruitment turn for me to recruit them, and how much value I'm getting out of that recruitment. So if I'm a nation, say Vanheim, whose recruitment turns are recruiting incredibly powerful Vanheers, then the price per gold of that mercenary it doesn't really make it worth it, because I'm going to get more value out of just recruiting more Vanheers. But if I'm a nation who doesn't expand very well necessarily, then I'm much more likely to lean on those mercs, because even if I'm spending quite a lot of gold, I'm probably getting maybe an entire expansion party out of that, when before I might get at most a half or maybe a third. I think that's the biggest thing. The one last thing I'll add is it's always really useful to look at also what the commander brings to the table. For example, something I learned quite recently is that the sappers, who just look like 20 crossbowmen, nothing too interesting, their commander has Mason, which means that he can upgrade forts to citadels, which is otherwise a very difficult ability to get. So yeah, always have a look at what those commanders can do, because they have some unique things as well.
Interesting. Well, thank you for that. So here we are, turn 5, and still in the expansion phase, but let's jump into it. Flegra making a Titan, or a Tyrant of Profit, sorry. Um,
Continued flawless expansion from Yugojo, as expected. They have incredibly powerful units. Spicy red guards, quickness red guards cleaning up again, as expected.
is this almost too large of an expansion party?
Probably could have done it with 5. You always have a little bit of a risk when you have very small expansion parties that they'll sneak past and kill your commander.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't blame him for being a little safe.
Look at this efficiency.
What a cleanup.
Another 2 losses on a 40 barb province.
And even
Bergmeister
2 kills from the
Guardsman.
Hobo champion. Oh, that's amazing. These mercs are on my radar now.
Strong expansion here. Just 5 Black Knights essentially, taking down 70 Jaguar. Obviously, Jaguar not particularly strong, but
What's the bless on Quite unusual to have a big bless, but if they're using them this early, they might have something.
no, these aren't sacreds.
Oh,
It's just
my
their heavy
mistake. I've been
cav.
looking at late age Orm this whole time.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yep,
just the
that's true.
heavy prot right out of the bat.
Yeah, I got mixed up with late age.
Paisha
Okay,
back
cool.
at it. Spearmen obviously expand really well into barbs. The length 3 and does wonders. Um, it's interesting.
Yeah, pretty clean.
There's certain matchups where barbs just get shredded, like Shinu with the goblins or Satis with the lizard warriors, where other nations may struggle quite a bit with barbs.
Yeah, they're very polarizing indie, a bit like knights.
Yep. It's almost like a you either do or you don't situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Shinu, another decent expand. A little bit of casualties here, but they can make so many goblins early because they're only costing 5 gold when they're getting the mountain recruitment bonus.
Yeah, it's nothing. 9 losses is very cheap.
And here we go. The first Knight of Yis is out on the field. Or the. Wait, no.
Warlock Knights, yeah. Knight
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Use is just their basic cav, which
Yep.
you often mix in if you can't quite afford a knight. So that's very optimal.
And then once again, Asphodel, continues to do fine, but sorry, gonna switch back here. Okay, Asphodel did do a second expand, but um, still, we'll see how it goes for them. Flagra back on the
Well, losses
field.
here.
Yeah,
Poker seems to be struggling a little. These losses are not.
these aren't
These are
cheap.
expensive units. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This can be tough for Flagra. Something to keep an eye on. And here we go, some meteorite guard on the field for relay.
Relay seems to be having quite a lot of attrition, uh, which is going to hurt them, I think, as we get into the second half of the expansion phase, because I have to reinforce all these groups.
Is this what you were expecting to see from the second expansion party from Relay? Heavy on the Mind Blasters.
It's often for expansion with Relay, you're really constrained by your resources and what provinces, the resources of the provinces in your capsule you manage to capture. So they've probably got as many meteorite guards as they could afford given the resources and then filled it up with the lizards. It
But
is a little
doesn't look like
heavy
they did
on
any
the lizards.
work. Just one kill. Would they
Well,
have
that's
been.
because they're paralyzing.
Yeah, okay. So potentially reducing the losses.
Yep.
And then Ulm, another flawless expand. Really pretty lucky, actually. Usually you expect a little bit of attrition each turn on that initial party, and then it wears down pretty quick for Ulm.
Yeah, almost.
Oh, this is terrible.
That looks like quite a mistake. Into a cave province by the looks.
Yep.
They probably were not expecting. Black Sentinels, yeah, they don't get dark vision by base, so.
Yeah, and without a bless on
Yeah,
them.
yeah, I think that was a very ambitious expansion.
Yep. And then another strong expand out of Yes. TC continuing to use the expander with good results. And Flagger did a double expand here. I wonder where the Sphinx was the prior turn.
Yeah,
Something
odd
to
they
keep
didn't
an eye on.
expand.
Yeah.
Maybe they were waiting for like a Dominion to spread so they could get their bless. Did we ever see
Potentially.
what the bless was?
Oh, maybe we didn't. Maybe we missed it.
Ethereal bless?
Oh, ethereal.
Is it an ethereal bless?
It is an
It must
ethereal
be.
bless. It's got, yeah, undead regen and ethereal.
What? Okay, they are thinking something very strange. I don't know what they're planning, but it's something very funky.
Okay. What is gonna benefit from the undead regen?
I really don't know.
Whoa, look at the size of this party coming from Shamba.
Wow, that's a lot of spearmen.
Yeah.
How much are
Maybe
they per?
they're cheap. It's just regular, but
And
still,
still,
they
maybe they
loot.
got an event.
Or maybe this is them combining. Let's take a look at
I
where this
mean,
province is. Yeah, it's their only expand. So I'm guessing they took the army that was here last turn and then an army coming out of their cap
yeah.
brought them
And you
together.
can see they're producing nothing but spearmen from their cap. So this is like it's a bit of a horde expansion, which does actually work. A lot of people don't realize that you can often just spam super cheap spearmen and they'll do okay against indies.
Oh, and then he's pinging provinces. That's smart. It's a Bone Reader province, obviously a little bit tougher. Or Bone Tribe Hunters. A little bit tougher indies, so getting some intel on them never hurts.
Yeah, it's a very good idea.
And then, yeah, TC continuing to do well. So, looks like TC probably number one right now. Let's take a quick look at the score graphs. Yeah, TC number one, Ulm not far behind. And then probably, yeah, a whole bunch of folks in that next category. And then Who's down there at the bottom?
Is that Fascia or
Yep,
Rayleigh?
you
It's
were right.
Fascia.
Yep.
So
And then
there are, how many are
Atlantis.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Atlantis and Phaeacia not doing great.
Fascia's a little surprising. Atlantis does have a very difficult early expand, so that's not too surprising. Underwater is tough.
And then before we jump to turn 6 here, um, any questions, comments?
Nothing so far. I think we should keep moving along. It all seems very straightforward so far.
Okay. And that was a little bit. I was doing some work in the background, so we'll be able to pull this one up a little bit quicker. Interesting to see that Bless come out on Flagra. Not something I've seen before. Let's make sure. Turn 6.
Yeah,
Okay. Here we go. A
yep.
bit more expansion. Oh, 4 expands by Ulm.
Wow. Shooting ahead.
Shamba continuing to roll with that large party. Looks like they didn't split it back up. We'll see how that works out for them. I find with expansion, you don't want your party to need reinforcements frequently, but you don't want to overcommit. It's a tricky balance with some nations.
Yeah, delicate art.
Oh, flawless expand here by Shinu into Lizard
Yeah,
Warriors.
Shinu.
Pretty impressive. Oh, no, these have, yeah, the size 4, or length 4 versus length 3.
So they're still getting that
Yeah.
repel. Such a strong unit.
Asphodel continuing to do well with that original party. Double expand here by Shinu. Oh, into what can be a trickier province.
Yeah, that's a unique indie province.
Yeah.
Lucky to have gotten that actually, because those are ethereal units that seem to do well.
Decent expand here. Ooh. Oh.
That's a bump.
Yeah, ran into the
It's
Cloud
the
Mages.
Cloud Mage Windmares there, yeah.
That's a bummer. Because they are invisible, right? You wouldn't
Yeah,
see
they
them
are.
without pinging the province with a scout.
That's right. They are the infamous secret indie ambush that hits people.
Yeah, that's got to be a bummer. Strong expand by yes. Oh, not good here.
That's they here. You can see they just did not have the right balance. They tried to expand again with. I mean, Elithid are great, but they're a support unit, and when you only have 5 units actually killing out the front, it's not enough.
Yeah. This may be bad because, as you may remember from the first video, Relay's position in the lake is precarious at best. So a strong expand would have been nice, to say the least.
They really needed to get a good expand.
Yep.
But
so that was Relay. What?
They lost the Merc group. I don't know why they even had a Merc group there.
Yeah, this is the first we've seen of this Merc group, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
threw them away.
Choice.
How not to use Mercs.
Very good joke. This is a new party, but flawless expand again. Oh, and this is onto land.
Creeping up already.
Yep.
Good idea, because if we look at their map, you can see they've closed off the choke. And so the rest of their water is pretty much safe.
Yeah, because of the way the map nuke works with the generation, and Phaeacia gets a lot of water provinces in map nuke. So this side of Raigojo's pond is bigger than you would typically see because they're bordering Phaeacia, but
yeah,
Phaeacia's not going into the water anytime soon, right?
No, I think the map nuke really does Phaeacia dirty because they really don't want much water, just the occasional province to hop over. I think they're gonna. It's a really obvious first target for Ryugo if they don't attack into Rayleigh. It's going to be very tough for them to survive against that.
Yeah, now that I'm zooming out and looking at this map may be heavily skewed in Raigojo's favor.
Yeah, definitely in their favor, and they're a strong player.
Yeah.
So if the other nations don't realize that, they could run away with it pretty quick.
Yeah.
And a strong nation too.
Okay, where were we here? Yeah, TC threw it away. Raigo moved on to land. Flagra expanding with that Pretender and a little bit of troops. Once again, not sure I understand this. Maybe it's out of Dom or Dominion and nope. It's just
This is
throwing
something
troops
I
away
see.
here.
Yeah. So I see this quite often, especially amongst less experienced players. They think that, oh, they've got some big, monster pretender. Um, if they throw in some extra troops, surely that's better, right? You've got the monster and the troops. Now you must be even stronger. But often what happens is that the troops all die, and then the monster HP routes, and you lose.
Yeah.
And thankfully, they didn't have enough losses here to do that. Yeah, it's actually often a mistake to have units in with a monster like this.
Red Guard doing work. Atlantis back in expanding. Is this a unique province? A Kraken, Sea
Oh, this
Trolls,
is
and a
not unique.
Hydromancer?
It's not unique. It,
Okay.
it comes up. It's just a slightly rarer set.
Oh, that's a lot of Mother Guard here.
Yeah, it looks like they. Can we have a look at their bless? This is unusual. Atlantis usually does scales expansion, not bless expansion. Mother Guard are okay, but they're not the strongest sacreds. And your powerful mages are not sacred, so it is unusual to. Is he even blessing them? Looks like he's just basalt blessing. He still hasn't blessed them. Ah, the prophet will be blessed. Magic weapons, core resist defense. A very light bless.
But he didn't even script Divine Blessing.
I guess there's not really. I think it's more important. He's doing the right thing, which is it's more important to get the basalt bless out because that's essentially stone skin
Okay.
versus just a +2 defense from the bless.
Oh yeah, here's a similar province.
Yep.
Okay, successful with these knights. Their first loss from this party.
Mm-hmm. Poor Pekinia.
And then
Those
Burgmeister guards
Obergs.
continue to do work.
Wow. This I would not have expected.
They are just dependable.
Murder machines.
And how do you approach the recruitment and re-recruiting mercs? Do you just pay attention to the attrition and put in a minimum bid and hope no one buys them out from under you? Or if they're doing work like these Burgmeisters, you don't even risk it and you make sure you're getting them back?
In terms of re-recruitment, I think the most important thing is to consider the popularity of that unit. So I think for something like this, I mean, especially if these guys are doing this much work, obviously you don't want to put minimum bid because someone can just chuck in 1 gold and win it off you, right? Especially on the re-recruit, your gold is worth double, so you may as well put in a little bit more. But if it's a particularly well-known merc, then you are kind of forced to overbid consistently to make sure that you keep it. As an example of that would be the shipwreckers, I think are the most infamous.
Yep.
Extremely powerful. And people are always going to try to outbid you on that. So you should risk it just for nothing, or you're going to lose it after 1 set of expansion, which is not really worth it.
And so if you have the merc company and you're bidding against someone who doesn't, your bid is worth double?
That's correct, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, well, there was turn 6. Anything before we jump into turn 7 and then we'll wrap it up on turn 7?
No, I guess my only comment would be TC seems to be doing the best expansion so far, along with Ulm. But TC has a quickness plus, so it's not too unexpected.
Yeah, they're actually tied here now.
Yeah, so they really jumping ahead, but we'll see whether they can convert that. I mean, that's really the point of a quickness place is to get that early fast expansion with a quickness monster. But as the game continues, it really drops off in utility.
Okay, here we go. Final turn for this episode. Turn 7. Let's see, anything jumps out here? Nothing
Indian invasion.
too major. Indian invasion. Only a double expand from Ulm this turn. TC continues to do well with that expander. Oh, they actually ran into the Burgmeister guards on the other side.
Bergmeisters didn't do so well against the dragon, unfortunately.
No, but I believe you get the ability to recruit the crossbows out of here. I think I've come across this before. So that's not terrible. It's a decent
if it's in a
indie
good
province.
spot. Yeah, and hobo crossbows are very good. Couple
Slightly
more
higher
losses there.
losses here, but nothing catastrophic.
Clean. Ryugo, I think, has also lost almost nothing.
Yeah.
Very good expansions.
And Ryugo was actually, they had that dormant, or dormant or imprisoned, but no bless. So that's going to be
Yeah.
something to keep an eye on. And Gis is on land.
Is that the hero?
N-
It might
oh,
be.
yeah. Look at that.
Yes, it's a hero.
Jesus.
What luck.
That is a strong early hero.
Yeah, I'm surprised they could even get it that early. Normally these heroes have a minimum turn requirement.
This original Asphodel party continued to do well. Okay, here we go. Finally, more Meteoric Guard than
Yeah,
Illivids.
this is the type of kind of ratio you want. In fact, you probably want even a few more meteorite cards, really. Nice and easy.
Yeah, this is a good expand.
Pacia. Pacia is one of these straightforward expansions where you just make light infantry and you're done.
Yeah, look at the size of this. 80 spearmen into
They're
50
really just
indies.
going for a horde expansion, but it works.
Yeah.
The biggest issue with that kind of horde expansion is that those units, while they kill indies, they are pretty much useless against players. So you do have this window of vulnerability where your expansion parties don't really help with your first war.
Mm-hmm. Another strong expand from Ulm here. Ooh.
Still losses, more losses, which isn't great.
Yeah.
Into Shark Tribe, which is not too unexpected.
Yeah.
Infamously the hardest underwater indies.
Oh, this party seems like a bit of overkill.
And yet they still
11.
lost 10 footmen.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I'm fairly confident Quickness Redguard would have taken this cleanly, or close to cleanly by themselves.
Yeah, a bit of a waste of the footmen. They look like they just got
Yeah, is there
heavy cav
profit in
charged.
here or something? What's going on? Do they not even have... Oh yeah, the profit's in here.
Yes,
Yeah.
yep.
Burgmeister guards into Pale One.
Still doing well. MVPs.
Oh, man. What are we doing here?
Oh, that is a heavy loss.
And once again, you gotta think Ethereal Sphinx probably could have done this flawlessly, right?
Very well could have, although Bone Tribe are scary. If
Yeah,
they'd lost their Sphinx over it, that would have been really unpleasant for them.
but it was, they did have the Bless active. Oh, and it's just sitting there animating
Wait, are they
skeletons?
even... Well, that's a tremendous waste.
Oh, jeez. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm starting to get a bit worried. Maybe Flaker is going to pull out something amazing, but I hope they do.
not the
I'm
right...
a bit worried about scripting so far.
Yeah, typically with a monster like this, you want a few buffs and then get in there. You have multiple attacks.
It's even got a ranged attack it could have been using.
Yeah, you're
Instead,
flying.
yeah.
You've got Invul. Oh, you have Invul and Ethereal. That seems like a bit of overkill.
Well, I mean, it's good for the expansion, but
Yeah.
yeah, we really don't know what they're going to do with it. Hopefully something cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Shinu continues to do well. Raigujo continues to do well. Another strong Red Guard expansion. Few
Was
losses
Flagra
here.
perhaps just casting a couple of animate skeletons to get those units forward and then jumping the back line? Could have been what happened after we
Okay.
closed it.
Let's give them the benefit of the doubt here.
We can just go on speedy mode and let's see.
Nope. Continues to cast spells.
No, just animate dead. Okay.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Oh,
Oh,
and they had a Kraken event. Luckily, into a province which had their expansion party in it.
yep.
So.
Okay, so here we are, turn 7. A few folks have met a neighbor or two. Joe continues to expand aggressively on land, putting them cutting off Rely essentially from getting onto land over on this side. Um, what else do we have?
Yeah, very aggressive.
TC is expanding pretty well. Um, they seem to be going east-west for the most part.
Yeah, it makes sense to kind of stretch out across those two boundaries.
Yeah, Shinu's doing a nice, or Shamba's doing a nice job isolating some provinces, so securing them for back expands, if you will.
Yep.
Yeah, Facia's getting screwed by Map Nuke. I might have to adjust this in the future. But yeah,
Yeah, I think they don't want as many water. I mean, it's particularly egregious here just because there's so many water nations.
yep.
Yeah,
Shinu
normally it's
doing
not quite as
well, but
painful.
bumping into Ulm. Ulm already 3 provinces north of their capital. And oh, Jesus. Look how close Ulm is to Asphodel down here.
Oh, that is a very aggressive expand.
Yep, and to a
Uh,
very valuable farm province.
wow, 147 gold. That's All might have to be careful with this expand. You can see they've really gone heavily north-south
Yep,
rather than in concentric rings. But when you do this, you really invite the ire of your neighbors.
yes, for sure.
So we'll see whether they. Uh, I mean, they're probably quite confident because Orm has very strong troops. He's usually okay in the beginning portions of the game.
Yep.
But I would not be surprised to see if Shinu and Asphodel end up 2v1ing them at some point.
And then you've got Yes breaking onto land near Ulm, but there's still a decent buffer between the two.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of farms there. This seems to be quite a farm-heavy map nuke, so
Yep.
there'll be some high income.
Yeah. And then yeah, TC and Ulm continue to separate a bit from the rest of the pack, and then nothing too surprising uh, with the rest.
Who's the third?
Dragons.
Is that
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Dragons.
it's Dragons and Shinu.
Actually, not too surprising. They have a strong expand. Dragons also have a very strong expand, but it's worth noting that water expansion in general is slower, a little bit harder. So the fact that they're third, is a pretty big deal. It means they're doing very well.
Not to mention they've
But,
got something up their sleeve when
oh
whatever
yeah, we'll
this
see.
turns into a bless.
Yeah, whatever this dormant Hellbless is, yeah, it's going to be pretty amazing. Yeah, and from the map, it might not look like they've expanded that much, but uh, they really have that whole area south of their capital for themselves, so they can really take their time.
Yep.
I think definitely Dragons, Orm's in a great position. TC, I think, is also in a good position, but we'll have to see how they transition out because when you have an Awake Expander monster and also an expansion blessed like Quickness, of course you're going to expand well. The question is then, how do you convert that into First War and continued victory?
Yeah, scale's not awesome, but not terrible. Um, Misfortune 3 is
Yeah,
going to
it
be
could
an
be worse.
interesting one. I typically only like to go Misfortune 2, but we'll see. Hopefully they're
Yeah,
able to leverage this into something. A decent income province, or decent income farm here.
yeah,
Oh,
100 gold
this
there.
one's nice.
Well,
144.
144. Wow. Yeah, they're definitely going to have a big income advantage
Yeah,
going into year one.
122 here. Do we see with Omni, do we get the Oh yeah, we do. Okay, yep. So yeah,
Yeah, that's expected.
yeah. Although not quite as big a gap. Rely right behind them. Or Relay or
That's that's surprising. They just managed to get some good provinces. I think they also have very strong scales.
Perfect Scales.
That would do it. Yeah, they've got
106. Oh yeah. Nearly
yeah.
180. 100. Yeah.
So even though they're small, sometimes the province number can be a bit misleading. If you get a couple of really good ones like here, and then you've got those good scales,
Yep.
you actually have a very decent income.
Well,
So they're
that
not
was
doing as badly as it looks.
a few turns. I think 4 through 7. Um, expansion, nothing jumping out to me. Anything of note to you?
Really, the only thing of note so far is just I think neither of us really know what Flegger is doing. And I think I've said it a few times now. I'm hoping that it's something that's really going to surprise us and is cool. I'm a little worried that it won't be, but he's hoping it's entertaining regardless.
Yep. Well, thank you for the time, and look forward to next episode.
No problem at all. See you later.